All right, cool. So before I start the time, hi everyone. My name is Derek, and this is Matanui Online Game, which is a 2001 Flash game developed by Templar Studios for the Lego Bionicle toy line. Timing is actually going to start when I restart the game here, because it's going to start immediately on the first room's load. And so that's going to happen in 3, 2, 1, go. So we're going to start off here. This is a point-and-click adventure game, and unfortunately it does have some RNG, which we're going to see the first of right now. We're going to first pick up some items, and then after that, going to go... oh, we have some echo? Is that a problem on my end, or a problem with the restream? Let me know, Kona, if that's something that I need to fix. But yeah, basically we're going to start by picking up some items, and then we're going to look for a gear, which will power a machine. And that gear, unfortunately, can spawn in one of 4 different places. Okay, I'm good. Okay, cool. So this gear can spawn... Ooh, that was the best possible placement of it. So really good RNG to start off there. And so we're going to put that in the machine here and go. So just in case, so we're going to have a long cutscene here, so I'll sort of repeat what I said just in case it wasn't very audible. This is Matanui Online Game, which is a 2001 Flash game, which was developed by Templar Studios for the Lego Bionicle toy line, and it's a bit of a meme, but it's also a lot of fun. This game was a pretty big part of my childhood, and it may be the same for you. There's a lot of nostalgia there, and no, it's not a perfect game by any means, but it is, you know, it's a fun time. And I picked up the speedrun for it. This is any percent, by the way. I picked up the speedrun for it a few months ago, actually, and managed to bring the world record down from about 49 minutes to about 42 minutes. And so, yeah, we're going to see a 90% run. Hopefully things turn out okay. There are some parts of this game that can just say no to a run. We're going to get to the first of those. I guess technically the first of these is going to come up soon, but I've never had it happen on this particular one. But I have had like soft locks happen before. But I have safety saves set up. Unfortunately, those will invalidate the run, but, you know, marathon. Yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia with this game. So if you're wondering what's happening with the story right now, since I'm sort of blazing through it, since it's a point-and-click adventure game and all that, we were just in Gakura, which is the watery area, and we basically stalled until one of the... you know, big superhero guys came through and defeated the evil monsters that are attacking everything. And now we're going on to this area where everyone's sick. They also happen to really like soccer, which they call goalie in this game, and just in Bionicle franchise in general. And it turns out there's some sort of plague that's being spread through the soccer balls. So we got to find out where they're coming from. And it'll end up being like a little mini game we gotta do. Yes, this game is absolutely beautiful. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna pick up a peg here. This is RNG, which peg you get, but it makes no difference to the time because it's just a different thing that you click on in the same screen. We got the ice peg, which means we're going to go to this guy here and use that. And we're gonna have a little small cutscene here, and off of that we're going to basically be doing a mini game where we control Pohatu here, and we're gonna have him kick soccer balls at these little pillars you see here. And it's not like RNG annoying, but still annoying because you have this guy here, the Nui Jaga, this purple thing that's basically trying to be a goalie and block your shots, and it's really annoying. Also, after you do a hit, there's a certain amount of time you have to wait to prepare the next kick, or else it just won't work. And, ooh, that was, wow, I'm doing bad right now. Let's see, what was I saying? There's some time in between the kicks, and then you also have to hold it down to sort of make it go faster. And, let's see here, if I can make this work right. The trick to this is basically manipulating the Nui Jaga here. Unfortunately, he is not playing very nice, so I'm going to be losing some time to my PB here, but I mean, I'm not going for world record or anything with this, but I'm also not taking any explicitly safety strats. So basically, now that we've done that, we're going to have a little bit of a cutscene here, and it's going to get to a point where Pohatu is talking to us, us being, you know, the first-person player character, and turns out this is the one cutscene, well, this and the previous one before the minigame were the only two cutscenes where you can mash through the text, which is a little interesting. It's just weird because none of the other cutscenes with dialogue, you do that at all. So what we're going to do now is now that we've basically solved this problem, normally the game wants you to go back to Pokoro, which is the village where everyone's playing soccer and stuff, and get an item. That eventually leads you to another item that lets you view cutscenes. We don't care about that, obviously, because it's a speedrun and we're trying to go fast. So we just completely skip that. And it turns out it assumes that we did that before. So we're going to see that item come up later, even though we never got it to begin with. Submitted for GDQ. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to attend this SGDQ coming up. But next AGDQ, I will be submitting this. I honestly don't expect it to get in, just because of, you know, the sheer meminess of this game. Plus, I mean, come on, it's a point-and-click adventure game for Flash. I mean, like, you know. But anyway, this guy here says that he wants to find an astrologer. We've never talked to an astrologer, but we're going to tell him that we've talked to an astrologer and we know an astrologer anyway, so that he'll give us a letter to the astrologer. And so now that that's done, we're going to head back up here and we're going to go solve a problem here with these miners. Miners as in digging, not miners as in under 18. That would be weird, especially considering there's no really concept of age in Bionicle anyway. But anyway, let's see. It would be a mistake not to accept this. Yes, absolutely, 100%. So anyway, we're going to go through here into Takoro, and we're going to turn around here and grab a lava surfboard from this guy here. And I have lost runs to accidentally clicking to leave the area too fast after getting that, which is kind of funny, but also really sad. We're going to use that lava surfboard to cross some lava, and we're going to do another little mini game here. That's basically just a little puzzle. It's a lights out game, if you've ever played a lights out game before. There's an algorithm to solving that, so I'm not just guessing there. But yeah, basically, it's one of those deals where, like, you click a button, and, like, that button and all of the surrounding buttons get toggled and all that fun stuff. So yeah, there's an algorithm to solve that, which is what I use to do that pretty consistently. I used to not know that was a thing, and so runs would die here a lot. Now they don't. So now that that's done, basically what we just did is we just, oh yeah, this game is actually in the Twitch database for games, which is hilarious. Let's see, what was I saying? What we just did is we just fixed a machine that basically was causing a bunch of lava to show up there. So now the lava's gone. So now the miners can access light stones, which means they can mine again, which means they can break through to this area. Oh man. Okay, so now that that's done, we're going to head into this area here, and we're going to pick up a flute. This is going to be our favorite item in the game. At the beginning, it's not very useful because it's going to just let us proceed to this cutscene here. But later on, this is going to be our means of fast travel. And I apologize if you can hear something going on in the background. I guess like my roommate's like using the vacuum in the other adjacent room or something like that. But whatever. Hopefully that's not too big of an issue. So now that we're here, this area has a problem now with these flying bugs that are basically kidnapping people, which is not very cool. And so we're going to kill a lot of them, and then we're going to go into their big hive area and figure out what's causing all of that. What's coming up here is a mini game where a lot of people had trouble with this as kids, myself included. But I was too young to realize when I was doing that there's a very easy way to win at this minigame every time. Shut up, bird. Basically, you're flying on this bird and you're armed with a little cannon that shoots discs. And these bugs are coming out of nowhere basically all the time, and they can damage you. And if you get hit like 3 times, you go down and have to restart. Which means that when I was a kid playing this game, I had to restart a lot. But it turns out every single bug that can damage you actually pauses for a bit right up here where I'm circling the mouse. So we're going to see that make this very easy. Basically, they all pause right up here, so as soon as I get there, I just click and shoot them down. And then eventually the spot changes to more like here. like more around here-ish. But yeah, basically, if you know that trick, you can basically consistently win at this minigame without getting hit every single time, which is fun. Also, like, maybe like 75%, probably more like 80 or 90% of the bugs you see cannot hurt you. They just fly by, so you don't have to worry about shooting them down. You just have to shoot the ones that, you know, come up like that and then come at you. And so very easy to win at this minigame here. So basically what we're about to do here, unfortunately this is a bit of an auto-scroller, but when this finishes up, we're going to fly into their hive area. And there's actually, we're supposed to sort of like wait a bit to sort of see the situation, and then it automatically triggers a cutscene, but the developers actually left in a clickable invisible object. Oh, good. Got it. Anyway, the developers left in a clickable invisible object that auto-triggers the cutscene. So that's very convenient for me. Also, everything from here on in the cutscene, or in the minigame rather, can't hurt you. Like, none of these bugs can hurt you, so I'm just done now. But yeah, it turns out you can click this little object up here once this next room starts, and you can just skip all that waiting and proceed to the cutscene, which is also a really cool cutscene, by the way. It's sort of a fun little reward for this mess of a mini game that's actually very easy to lose. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of time to spare here. Let's see, what else can I say about this game? This game assumes that you do things in a logical order, and it assumes that you do everything that it tells you to do, which of course we're not going to do because this is a speedrun, of course. This is that object, by the way. Let's see here. So yeah, it turns out in this area, Liwa, one of the big superhero guys, is actually corrupted. He's got a corrupted mask on, and of course that corrupts everything because logic. And we have another big superhero guy who's going to fight him, and it's really cool. And yeah. But yeah, like I was saying, this game, like, really likes to just assume that you do everything, even though you don't really have to. Like I said before, with that item that that you get after the soccer minigame, you just sort of pull it out of your pack later, even though you never had it to begin with. A lot of times, like, when you go into Takuro for the first time, you're normally expected to go from the beach to there. And it turns out we actually just take the long way around, because there's really no reason to go to Takuro at the very beginning except story, which we obviously don't care about. So we go all the way around, like through Gakuro and then Onukuro and then straight to Takuro. And it's interesting because normally have to do this big cutscene of like raising a bridge to get into Takuro, and we just skip that. Because we go in from the other side. And it's funny, if you go too far over, you can cross the bridge one way and then not be able to get back until you raise the bridge, which is pretty funny. Let's see. Okay, so we're about to finally be done with the cutscenes and auto-scrollers and stuff, and we're about to get our fast travel item, which is the flute, again, but now it has a new song that we can play that calls a bird and lets us fast travel. It also has the main sort of glitch in this game, which is called the flute buffer. And we're in a bit going to show off how that works. So that's the fast travel song. It calls this bird here. That's pretty cute, and it carries you to whatever area you previously went to before. I think there's only one area that we haven't been to before yet, so we go here. Remember how we got that letter to an astrologer that we never met? We're gonna give it to him now. So there we go. This is the first place where I've had the game soft lock. But it didn't do it right now, which is pretty cool. Basically, whenever you give someone an item, they have a chance to basically not give you the little arrow to continue the conversation there. It's kind of hard to talk while doing that flute interaction because it's really finicky with the buttons. But anyway, there's a chance when you give someone an item, they won't give you the arrow to proceed with the conversation. Most of the time, that is actually recoverable. Because you can just fly directly out of the conversation. What I'm doing right now is preparing a flute buffer. So what you'll notice is I just played all of the notes except the last one of the fast travel song. And what that does is that actually puts the game into a state where it's waiting for that last button. And it turns out the fact that you can, you can split it up and play the last button later, plus the fact that you can technically, during some cutscenes, like riding into Onukuro, use the flute, it won't let you fly in that case, but you can use the flute. It will actually, there we go. It'll actually save you some time because you can play 7 of the 8 notes while that cutscene is playing, and then later, 5 minutes later actually, the next time we're going to use fast travel, we just have to play 1 note and not the full 8, which is pretty cool. And I always forget to do it because I'm stupid, so hopefully we don't forget to take advantage of that. So now that we've basically activated that little sundial, that's what the whole astrologer deal was. It was really confused because there's a sundial in the middle of a cave, but it turns out there's actually, sorry about that, there's actually a special marking on the 4 o'clock spot, and so we put a stick in the middle of it and shine a light stone to cast a shadow on the 4, and that causes it to open up. We're not going to do anything with that until the very end of the run, but I think it's supposed to be like a little thing to tell you where to go next or something like that. This game is official by LEGO. This was on the Bionicle.com website for a very long time. It was made by Templar Studios, like on contract for LEGO. So yeah, it's pretty cool. They made a sequel, but the sequel's really bad and people don't play it, so no. So this is the bridge that's out, by the way, that I was talking about earlier. So now, yes, this is official. This was on the Bionicle website. Let's see, what was I saying? What we're doing right now, story-wise, is now that we've, solved a lot of these little villages' problems, we're going to sort of be a part of the guard and see what's going on in this area, because apparently there's some hunters that are disappearing, which is not a cool thing. We're going to pick up a heat stone. It provides heat. And look, we're going to use a heat stone, and we're going to forget about it forever. That guy was frozen in a wall for some reason, so whatever. We're going to follow him, and he's going to let us proceed into the rest of the area. And we're going to ignore him again, and we're going to have a little bit of a puzzle here, where we match up these guys. These are basically the Toa, the hero guys, and the Turagas, which are the which are the elders of each village. And it's hard to do that while talking. This is the most early 2000s thing, and it's so great. I love it. It's a great Flash game. So what's happening now? There are some hunters that are disappearing. And this is the next big bit of RNG. And by big, I mean it is very annoying, and I never get the best RNG. Although, I was just doing a practice run of this game, like, whoops, I don't know why I proceeded through that conversation. You just have to click the door that opened. Anyway, I had literally just done a practice run of this game where I got perfect RNG, and it sucks. You gotta find 3 of these flags, and sometimes they just don't show up. Is this actually going to be the elusive perfect RNG? Nope, doesn't look like it, because the third one's going to be really stupid and not show up. Like, every single time. Give me a third flag. Sometimes they just don't show up, and you have to wait a bit. Oh, there's a third one. So now that that's done, we basically have to wait a little bit for our character to black out here. Also, apparently the time it takes for that to happen is also kind of random. So yeah, this is a pain. This area is a pain. By the way, this message that comes up here says "Beware the swarm." It was the message that was written on that rock we just passed, and so we're having a little vision about it. Whatever. You don't actually have to. You don't have to actually know any of the words to complete this game, but it helps you navigate when you're learning it. So I was able to, make out some words like Takoro and Onukoro and stuff like that, because the little circles actually resemble English letters. So, pretty easy to see what's what. Yeah, so we got another cutscene here, which is pretty cool. And we're about to finally get to the... what was I going to say? We're about to finally get to use that flute buffer that we prepared like 5 minutes ago. Probably more like 4 or 3 minutes ago, or whatever. So basically, we're just going to have to click one button instead of 8. And that is the extent of all of the tech in this game. It's just that one trick, at least so far. And we use it about 3 times in the run, if I can remember to use it all 3 times, which known to me is a big old maybe. So see, while this is going on, basically, yeah, there's monsters. Monsters are the source of all the problems here, and we're having these guys take it out again. Or this guy take it out. Those were little holograms or whatever. But now we're getting to sort of the quote-unquote end game of it. Whoops, I don't know why I did that. Basically what's happening right now is this guy, this elder guy, he's being translated by this guy, which is why we went to seek him. And he's going to tell us, like, hey, I have a vision or whatever, a prophecy. You're going to have to, like, take a letter to all of the elders and then do something else where you, like, collect a bunch of party members and then go kill monsters. So we're going to do just that. By the way, that was the using the flute buffer right there. That's done. We're going to go. This is where it can, but molten here because you or actually what you'll see right here. You can you can fly directly out of these conversations, which is pretty neat. You basically don't even have to progress the dialogue past that point. So with all of these except for one of them, where it's underground and you can't fly, you can actually just fly out of the conversation, which is pretty neat. So we're going to head back here. Love all these dancing guys, it's pretty great. And then we're going to show him the letter and fly out. Yeah, it's actually faster to, just fly out instead of, going through their entire dialogue, which is pretty funny. And then also, what's actually the next elder I'm going to show the letter to, actually, it's faster to go through his entire dialogue because it's faster to do that and walk to the next place than actually flying there. Like that. So he didn't soft lock. He soft locks a lot for me, which is annoying. But yeah, we're going to just walk over to the next place because the fast travel would actually drop you off right here. So it's faster to just walk there. We're going to set up another flute buffer. Alright, I cut it a little close there, but it's not a big problem because you actually have multiple chances to do it without losing time. Actually, this one you do have to get right there. Oh, okay, so looks like it's soft locked right there. Can I re-trigger this? No. So, okay, this run is dead now, but I'm going to basically I'm going to load up a safety save here, which it's going to be a black screen for you guys real quick. But where's my folder? There's my folder. So this run would normally be dead, but because I have safety saves, I can do that. Also, the save system in this game is really hacked together for the standalone version, which is kind of hilarious. Let me just find the get state file. I'm having to go into the game's files and modify it to make this work. Normally, I just have saves disabled because speedruns. Here we are. Okay, so this run's dead now. But are we gonna? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so but yeah, I'm able to recover for a marathon because a hack together save function. So now that that's done, I should theoretically just be able to head into here and show the letter to the last person. Unless the game decides to be stupid and not remember in the save that I did that. So hopefully that works out. I actually have not tested this. So we're going to find out here. Unfortunately, it does not carry over my flute buffer. So I have to do the whole flute song. See, I'm going to close live split because this run's dead anyway. Sorry about that. Let's see. Where was I going? I need to go here. If this guy shows up, good. So that means it saved everything correctly. Except the flute buffer, which is a little sad. So now we're going to collect all the party members, which is pretty cool. I'm not really that sad about the run being dead. It was already dead. Like, it was already slow. So this guy is going to be a part of our party as well. Let's see here. I can also fly directly out of these conversations after picking them up into the party, which is pretty funny. So basically, we're going to have a little bit of like an RPG combat bit at the end, and that is the absolute biggest RNG deal in this game. And it's really annoying, and I hate it, and it hates me. So we're going to have some fun with it. These guys are our party members, and they're going to be fighting monsters. And there's a lot of RNG there, which I'll talk about later. Whoops, I accidentally clicked goodbye, which means I need to restart that conversation. Yes, blah, 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 blah. There we go. And so now we're going to fly over to the next area to pick up our next guy. I know, right? This greater than Ocarina of Time, right? That's how it goes. So, yeah, obviously Ocarina of Time ripped off Motonui Online game, obviously. So now we're going to go to here. We're not actually going to go into the town. We're going to turn around because it turns out this guy here, who's been standing here doing nothing this entire time, is going to be our next party member. So you'll notice we're getting near the end of the game, but the time isn't getting anywhere close to the estimate, and the reasoning for that is that the last bit, the fight takes up like, you know, a huge portion of the run for some reason, which is really dumb. We're going to set up another float buffer, and hopefully we won't soft lock before we're able to use it. There we go. Yeah, here you get like a gazillion chances to use the flute buffer. We actually, before getting the party member here, we have to talk to this guy so you can give him permission. That's the only one where you have to do that. It's really dumb. But he's basically telling you, yeah, you can have this guy. He's not very important. So, whatever. He's actually one of the strongest fighters in the party, which is pretty cool. There are stats for how that works, and I'll explain that also when that's happening. And the game lies about the stats. It's pretty great. So our next party member is basically going to be the guy that we helped dig through to Lake Koro, and who was wanting to go to Lake Koro, but we told him no, actually, because if he goes, then there's a little bit of a cutscene that we could skip if he didn't go. So, obviously, he's not coming then. But he's going to come in our party here, which is pretty cool. So now that's done, we got, I believe, yeah, we got one more guy here. But yeah, like I said, like I kept getting interrupted by myself with the flute buffer. You actually have multiple chances to get that flute buffer because you can trigger it when riding the crab in and out of Onokoro or riding the elevator. So if you mess it up on the first, riding into Onokoro, you have 3 more chances to do it. It's just harder on the elevator and here. I think it's easiest the first time. So now that we did that, we can fly to Gakoro with 1 click. Oh yeah, yeah. This run, this run, like 45 minutes on a Flash game is pretty good. Plus, there's so much of this game that we skip anyway. It's a huge game, really. So it's great. This is the person that we met at the very beginning of the run, when my voice was all messed up and sounded like a Bionicle. So she's gonna join our party, which is pretty cool. And so now we're gonna use all these party members to be able to get to the last area. So basically, all of these party members have special traits that once you need all of them to access the final area. This person, Maku, she has a boat, so we can cross. Cool. Then we have Tamaru. Some of these dialogue boxes are glitch up here, which is pretty funny. But he can swing on a rope, I guess, which is how we can cross this gap. Cool. And so now we have my favorite cutscene in the game, just because it's hilarious and has no right being in a stupid game like this. Whoops. So we have to get both Hafu and Taipu to help clear these rocks. Yeah, this cutscene has a joke in it that's like, it was way ahead of its time and like has no right being in this stupid game. Basically, Taipu's going to move the rocks while Hafu's going to carve out the rest of the rocks into the best possible sculpture, which of course is Hafu. I love that. So now we're going to proceed through here, and we're going to have Kopeke clear this area. And he's just going to sculpt a key out of some snow because that's able to turn a lock, I guess, because reasons. So that's pretty fantastic. These cutscenes are really annoying, and I wish I could proceed. There we go. Okay, so now we're gonna head into here and have another big long cutscene, which is also annoying. But basically, this is where these guys were all teaming up to go down into the center of the island and defeat the evil, big bad evil guy But the problem is that once they go down, there's still a lot of monsters, and those monsters can basically like cause the entryway to cave in, and they won't be able to get out. So that's our job now. We're basically going to our party are going to fend off the monsters, and so that's going to be pretty cool. And by that I mean it's going to be absolutely horrible, because the RNG in this area is god awful. Basically, there are 4 fights. In every single one of those fights, you have to, you have to land a certain number of hits on all the enemies, and they have different health bar sizes and stuff. And then also the hit RNG. So there's like hits and crits. There's stats in the game with all these party members. Some of them are better than others, but basically, whether or not they hit, whether or not they crit, is all RNG, with different chances of happening. And then there's also, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, on 3 of the 4 fights, so the first one is always the same encounter, but the last 3 fights, the encounter that you get is random. So basically, we want fewer numbers of enemies. It can be anywhere from 1 enemy to 4 enemies. The first one's always 1 enemy, but the latter 3 can be anywhere from 1 to 4. And so we want 1 or 2, and 3 or 4 is bad RNG. The game basically makes you wait here for 25 seconds, and the idea is that you can talk to these guys, and they tell you their strengths and weaknesses. The problem is that the game lies. Basically, this guy talks about the Nui Kopin, and like Muaka. Those aren't in the game. Yeah. So, they aren't in the game. There's only, I want to say, yeah, there's 4 types of enemies. So it's really stupid. So I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible. But yeah, the ones that they tell you about are, correct, the actual like strengths and weaknesses, but yeah, half of the things they tell you don't actually exist inside of the game, and they just hope that you don't play the game enough to realize that they're not there. So I didn't see what happened health-wise on my party members, but that particular encounter was over pretty fast, which is pretty good. Yeah, I know, right? This is the best RNG. Final Fantasy can suck it. But basically, like, while this, in between all of these fights, we have big long cutscenes where we're basically telepathically communicating with one of the Toa. And she's basically showing us everything that happens inside the cave while we're stuck fighting monsters, because that's what we do, because we're not important. So basically these guys all formed up into 2 giant guys, and they're going to get their butts kicked by these crap guys. So that's pretty great. So this is going to be the second fight, and it's going to be the first of which that has RNG. So this could be potentially anywhere from 1 to 4 enemies. We want 1 or 2. Obviously 1 is the best luck, 4 is the worst luck. And this game does not like me, so of course on the marathon run we're going to obviously get 4. The game can also soft lock here. And I've had the game soft lock on world record pace, like, by a lot. It's pretty good. Yeah, the game can soft lock by basically, like, sometimes it'll just decide that, like, one of your party members is, like, half alive, but, like, not really, and you can't do anything with them, so you're just stuck, and it's great. And by that I mean it's horrible. So we're going to... Okay, that's fine that that guy died. If they die, they basically come back in the next fight with a little bit of health. So as long as... okay, he's not important, and the other guy is not important. The blue guy also is not important. It's just these 3 that I want to keep alive. And he'll probably die before he can take out any others. And by that, I totally jinxed it, of course. But we'll see what happens. Final Bionicle, I know, right? That is the best game. And remember when I was talking about hit RNG? Oh man, I love this game. Yeah, like I was talking about earlier, these guys actually have stats. This guy, the red guy at the beginning is, like at the top, is most consistent with hitting. The guy to his left is also pretty consistent. The guy at the bottom left is the least consistent, but when he does hit, he hits very hard. And so they all have, strengths and weaknesses, but honestly, the strategy just comes down to be fast with queuing up their attacks, and that's pretty much it. So we have to wait another 25 seconds for the next fight to queue up here, and like I said before, 1 or 2 enemies is good, 3 or 4 is bad. So we'll see what happens here. And it turns out the 4th fight, you don't even have to win. The game, I guess, just forgot to make sure that you won the 4th fight. So if you lose the 4th fight, like if all your party members go down, it just treats it as if you won, which is pretty cool. We got 2 enemies again, which is pretty good. These guys hit really hard though, so I really hope that none of my guys die. Well, I mean, the 3 that are worthless can die, but my 3 hard hitters should not die. I'm getting some good hit RNG. Ooh, I lost one of my heavy hitters. I lost 2 of my heavy hitters. That's not good. So hopefully this guy dies quickly. Please, die quickly. Good. Alright, good hit RNG so far. Now I just gotta re-queue them all up. And hopefully this guy dies fast. So yeah, 3 of my 4 guys right now are kind of useless. So hopefully the 4th guy doesn't die. That would be fantastic. He's also got like the most health right now, which is pretty good. Ooh, I'm getting some good hits right now. The annoying part is going to be that 2 of my heavy hitters are going to have like really low health, so they'll die quickly next round. Alright, I need like 1 more hit, so if that could happen, that would be fantastic. Good! Alright, so that was the 3rd fight, and the 4th one is basically, I think it's impossible for it to have 1 so 2 is best, 4 is worst. And so we got another cutscene where these guys are getting wrecked by these stupid crabs. And actually, like I said, this 4th fight, you don't have to win. You can lose, and it treats it as if you won. So basically, the strategy is still to try to win, because that makes it go faster. But I mean, if they all die, it's not the end of the world, because it still treats it as if you won. Gotta wait. There we go. Alright, so this is the 4th fight. Hopefully it's not 4 enemies. It was 2 enemies. That's cool. So hopefully my heavy hitters do not die immediately. That would be great, because that means I do more damage, and thus I win faster. Come on, game. Give me some good hits. I said give me some good hits. I would like to complete this game in an acceptable amount of time, please. Please. Good. Okay, so now to re-queue all these guys up. Now we just gotta take this guy out. Unfortunately, this guy is very likely to dodge compared to the other guy. Ooh, that was a good crit. Wow. 1 more of those, please. Thank you. May I have another? And none of my heavy hitters have died, which is pretty great. It doesn't matter if they die now, obviously, because there's no other fight. Okay, cool. So that was good RNG, to be honest. It was like 1 enemy and then 2 and 2 and 2. So that's like some of the best RNG you can get. Hit RNG was sort of eh. And the fact that a lot of my heavy hitters died in the 3rd fight is pretty bad. So I guess overall, decent RNG. So basically right now, we're getting overrun by monsters, and it doesn't matter that we killed all those monsters, because now, they're just going to overrun us anyway because of plot. It turns out, hey, all these people that we helped, and some of them that we didn't help, because we didn't do everything in this game, are coming to help us out again. Like this guy. Who's that guy? They're riding on crabs? Okay. We kind of helped this guy. We didn't really tell him anything that we figured out at Code World, but whatever. They're all gonna kill all these Rahi for us, which is pretty cool. And we're going to have our last big cutscene here before we go and finish the game. Basically, at this point, all of the challenge in the game is done, and all the RNG in the game is done. At this point, it's basically just, you know, do the clicks in the right order until you complete the game. So, story-wise, what's happening right now, these guys are still getting their butts kicked, and they realize, oh, hey, when we crash into these stupid towers, all the crabs stop working, and so they just destroy them. Cool. So now that that's done, they're about to confront the big bad evil guy, and we're actually going to go and watch that in person, because apparently, you know, because plot, this area, we can't telepathically communicate with the one Toa, so we're going to actually go there in person, and that's where the... Oh, sorry about that. I had a hiccup there. That's where the sundial bit's going to come into play. Oh, big long cutscenes. Alright, blah, 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 blah. So basically, we're going to go down into that room that opened up with the staircase from when I shone the light on the 4 on the sundial. So this will give us fast travel back to Onokoro, which is very useful because otherwise it would be a very long walk, or fast travel. Oh yeah, and this is the first time you actually see the player in this run. So that's the player character. You'll see him again as it goes on. But we're going to head down into here one last time. And it looks like this area's been like evacuated or something. I don't really know. I guess it's because like the sundial started being really weird, and so everyone's like, okay, let's get out of here. Because that would be smart. Alright, so this gets us into the very last area of the game. Fun fact, in this game you're playing as Takua, same player character as the Bionicle Game Boy Advance game Tales of the Tohunga, which I'm going to be picking up speedrunning soon, trademark. And it is also the protagonist of the Bionicle movie, the first Bionicle movie, Mask of Light. I know more about this franchise than I have any right to. And this is our big bad evil guy, and he's actually Matoran, like a little villager. But he's actually like God or whatever, so whatever. Man, you guys must love these clicking sounds. It's so great. It's so soothing to just listen to a click over and over again. You know, clicking my way through this cutscene. It's a point-and-click adventure game, which makes an absolutely fantastic speedrun, and I definitely should submit this to next agent. I'm sure everyone would love that. So they're getting their butts kicked again, and then soon they're going to realize. Soon they're gonna realize, like, oh yeah, we should probably like work together or something. So they do that. Yeah, like they actually take great care in the lore of Bionicle to make sure that they're not sort of treading on anyone's religion, and so they call them the Great Beings, Madanui and Vegeta, etc. It's actually funny, another bit of trivia. So the Matoran, which are what the villagers are typically called throughout most of the franchise, in the first year of the franchise, they were called the Tohunga. But it turns out there's actually like an actual like tribe somewhere. I don't want to say like Africa or something, because I'm not 100% sure and I don't want to be insensitive, but there was actually a tribe of people called the Tohunga. And Lego realized that, and they're like, oh crap. We don't actually want to call them the name of a real tribe. And so they start calling them the Matoran. And so, yeah, I don't know why I even brought that up, but hey, trivia, cool. So now we get our second to last cutscene here. So basically this sets up the next big arc of the lore, which would happen throughout most of 2002. Sort of the second year of Bionicle's existence with the Gold. And so these guys all come out and they're like, oh no, it's a swarm, blah, 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 blah. And then also, this is the part that I was talking about way earlier in the run. Remember that item we skipped? Yeah, he's about to pull it out of his backpack here, which is pretty great. that. It's a chisel. We never got it, but it's in our pack anyway. And so that's going to allow us to escape. Really what should have happened is he should have died right there. Because he didn't have the chisel, and that would have caused nothing in the Bionicle movie to happen and all that fun stuff. And so we're about to have our last cutscene here. There's going to be, after the end screen, there's going to be a little, like, half a second cutscene where one of the Borat guys jumps at the camera and then there's like a cut to black. That's going to be time when that sort of like half mini, not really jump scare happens. And so I'll also call time when that happens. Blah, 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 blah. While this is happening, I'll sort of advertise a bit. My name is Derek MK. On Twitch, it's DEREK_MK. And on Twitter, it is DEREKMK with no underscore. Time's about to happen, and time. I'm actually going to look up on the stream what my time was because I don't have my splits open anymore. So we're going to see real quick what happens there. Like I said, Derek MK with an underscore on Twitch, Derek MK without an underscore on Twitter. I'll do this in chat so you can see and follow if you want. Let's see what time we got, and time was 45:17. Okay, a little bit above estimate. Oh well, not the end of the world. See, anything else I need to advertise? I'm going to be picking up more Bionicle games soon, so follow if you want to see that. Thank you guys very much for checking out this stream, checking out the Valuethon as a whole. Stay tuned. There's a lot of cool runs happening soon, and then there's also going to be a mystery triathlon, I believe, was the name on the schedule. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be pretty cool. So yeah, that's it for me. Have fun.